All right, TDS Queen here, and it was a big one today. The videos have finally stopped from all the people I've watched, so we're doing it different because I don't feel like writing it down. So here's all my notes for the news for the day. And they're not really in any particular order, and we'll just find out what's been going on and comments on what's really irritated the crap out of me like usual. Some of it started last night. I watched the interview with Tammy Duckworth about ICE. She basically said ICE is a perversion of what Homeland Security should be doing. They borrow the upstanding reputation of our National Guard, but they are the lowest of the low. Look at the commercials. They cover their face. The National Guard doesn't cover their face. They are not military. I think that's obvious. Like I said last night in my video, or maybe the night before. These are just degenerates that have been fed a steady diet of racism and hatred, and they're out there harassing people. They're also doing damage to communities. Look at the farms in California. These are people that, supposedly 50% of them have zero criminal background that are being arrested. This country is built from immigrants by immigrants. We are a country of immigrants. When Trumpty Dumpty came out and started talking about we're going to get rid of the really bad guys, the really bad hombres, the criminals. Okay, that was fine, but that's not what they're doing. And I think that's obvious now. You have to be living in a complete echo chamber to not realize what's going on or think all these videos are AI. Or if you live in big cities, you're not going out anywhere. You're not around when they do a raid. Like, I've seen them in my town. It's true, okay? I've seen it with my own eyes. It's true. Yeah, like I said, they're taking these people away from the farms. Who's supposed to do that? Who's supposed to fill in for that? These are hurting businesses. Small businesses are shutting down. People are afraid to go out. These people contribute to our economy. They are our neighbors, our friends, our family. What are they doing? They just did a huge shadow docket last night, and I'll talk about that later. But Jasmine Crockett interviewed a U.S. citizen named Andrea Velez. Spent 2 nights in jail because of ICE, okay? They didn't have a warrant. They didn't identify themselves. They didn't explain anything. Just picked her up, shipped her off to an ICE detention facility, didn't have access to, couldn't explain anything. I don't know if she had a lawyer or not. I can't say that. I didn't do too much research. It was the very last thing I just saw. But that's messed up. Just because she's not white. And if they can do it to her, they can do it to any American citizen that doesn't look white. And if that doesn't terrify you, it should. All right. The health plan, okay? Trump was going to announce a health plan, and it was going to be, extending the Affordable Care Act for most likely another 2 years. And Republicans threw a fit. MAGA Mike Johnson said, you don't have the votes for this. It's going to blow up the party. Now, yeah, and also they're going to retire. Like, if you announce this, we're gone. And it's like, who is in charge? Who is in charge here? He supposedly has all this power and everybody falls in line. And that's not what's happening anymore. In July of 2020, there was a reporter on Fox that did an interview with him. And he told him, you've had 3.5 years to come up with a health care plan. Okay, started in 2016. And Trump said, we're signing a health care plan in 2 weeks. It's always that 2 weeks. And guess what it is again when he backed off of this? They're going to have one in 2 weeks. Well, we'll see. What day is it today? The 25th? Okay, 2 weeks from now, I'll be back making another video to see if he's announced it. A plan in 2 weeks, a full and complete healthcare plan, and an immigration plan. Ooh, and an immigration plan to boot. How can Republicans go against extending the Affordable Care Act? They're saying, well, it drives up costs. Yet they add trillions of dollars to the national debt in this billionaire tax cut in their big, ugly bill. So you're worried about the debt now. I got it. I see. Because cruelty is the point. Cruelty is always the point. Do they not want to get reelected? To me, if even Trump sees the value of extending the ACA and Marjorie Taylor Greene, even if it's just to save their own skins. Trump could go ahead and go forward with it and then let all the Republicans be shown in the fact that they just don't care about people and their health care going up. That'd be a safe bet to do. And, Donald Trump's always looking out for Donald Trump. and he should just go ahead and go for it, earn himself the points politically. So I don't understand their position on not wanting to do this, because that certainly is not going to win them any votes. And then saying if he comes out and goes ahead with it, then they're going to leave. Like, you that's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. If he extends it and you don't like it and you resign, that's your job, whatever. If he doesn't sign it and then they go up, then everybody's going to be pissed like they are already at you. So they're not going to vote for you anyway. So you either quit your job, or people don't vote for you and you end up losing your job anyways. That's a lose-lose. So why don't you just give people their health care? Why don't you just want to keep us alive? I don't understand. But like I said, cruelty's the point. The immigration plan, okay? I forget who they had on the other day on one of the networks that I watch, but they were talking about how that community of immigrants has turned their back on Democrats because we just safely assumed that we didn't have to do anything and they were just going to continue to vote for us. And that's not true. We do need to back up immigrants and come up with some kind of plan for the people that have been here and work and have a family and don't break the law and just want to live here and have the American dream. There needs to be a pathway for citizenship. We cannot ignore this any longer, and there's no reason that can't happen. What is everybody afraid of? You know, it's asinine. All right, next thing was all this AI stuff, and I don't think I've mentioned a lot of it, but these places that they're putting in suck up, like one AI facility sucks up more electricity than 3 Atlantas. That's why everybody's electric bill is going up, is because we are, of course, subsidizing these companies for their AI, and they're getting electricity breaks and they're getting tax breaks, but somebody has to pay it somewhere, so of course it's getting passed on to us. I mean, it's a serious thing. It's been, Bernie Sanders warned about this. These billionaires want to create AI quickly and fast because AI, they don't have to pay, they don't have to give benefits to, they don't have to give vacation time to. That's who's going to replace you in, let's say, I could see that in retail. I could see that in restaurants. I could see that in grocery stores. I mean, they already have the little robots going around taking inventory. Have you ever seen those? So, automatic cashiers. Haven't you seen iRobot and all of that? Seems so far-fetched when you see it, but I think that's where we're headed. Oh my gosh, China, right? So this deal with China and the soybeans, okay? Trump says, I talked to the leader of China, and he more or less agreed to buy more soybeans and faster. Okay, how do we even fact check something like that? When he's always saying that I talked to so-and-so and it was a great talk. I talked to so-and-so and they agreed with me. Are we personally going to call them up and find out if they did? I was one of those world leaders and I heard him say that. I'd be watching American politics. I would get right on the horn and be like, didn't ever happen. Because China is in a position of strength right now and they are walking all over Trump and taking advantage of him because he did not play his hand right. He never should have done these stupid tariffs because China did not need us. That was not a threat. We need them. We ship a whole bunch of stuff from us. I see what he was trying to do, where he's building factories here and trying to make things American, but that's the first thing you do. You don't tariff the countries. First you build the factories, fill them with American workers, pay them an American wage, start making American products, get a good stockpile of that going, and then go, okay, now we don't need you anymore. Did this back asswards, and this is the result. Now these farmers are suffering, and now he's probably going to have to bail them out, if he even does. But I mean, we bailed out Argentina, so we certainly should be able to bail out our own American farmers, you would think, but with them you never know. That's the way narcissists lie. The ones that I know, especially, they'll always say, well, so-and-so agrees with me. Somebody that they know that I can't go call and check and see if they did. Like, oh, so-and-so said not to do this. So-and-so thinks you shouldn't put conditioner in your hair. Like, little stupid things like that. How am I supposed to check that? How am I supposed to double check that? So you just gotta let the lie slide. And I feel like that's like him with the world leaders. Do we know he talked to him? But I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, things are getting dicey over there. I mean, China's telling Trump Taiwan belongs to China. Any company that has a relationship with the U.S. military must get a special license to get rare earth minerals from China. The far-right Prime Minister of China, Takaishi, says Japan will defend Taiwan, and China says they'll invade Japan. I mean, it is just a freaking hot mess over there. Trump and his weird AI posts. See, this is why wish I had more than a mom and pop organization here. Because I wish I could play that clip like Midas Touch does, because the AI posts that he has, I mean, I can describe them to you. I assume that you've seen them. It's him as like a king like this with like big robot-y arms and a crown, and like Schumer and maybe Pelosi, I forget, I didn't look, but all at his feet, like he's going to pass down judgment. Then there's a QAnon one that says something about, we're going to expose the deep state, do a Q on his shoulder, like the craziest stuff imaginable, okay? This is the president, again, people. This is your president posting things in the middle of the night, crazy things. Who's running the country in the morning? Because, what is he, staying up? He's posting things at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning and then getting up and running the country? What is going on? What is going on? This is insane. Absolutely insane. Okay. A lot of Russia stuff. All right? And this isn't maybe in any particular order, but I'll do my best. Putin scoffed at the European plan to end the war in Ukraine and said he preferred the U.S. plan. Well, yeah, because it's your plan. Okay, but Ukraine is fighting back. 87 miles away from Moscow. The Shatura power station, they bombed it. It's like a firestorm over there. It cut heating for thousands in the town. That was a couple nights ago. Last night, by the Russian Black Sea, there was there was an attack on the coast. Okay, Ukraine hits power plants, military. They're not trying to, kill innocent people. They're fighting by the rules of war. Russia attacks Kiev, or Kyiv, or however you say it. Killing, innocent civilians. This is a war criminal, Putin. And this is who Trump is cozied up to. And that should bother every single MAGA supporter, because it's obvious that he takes his talking orders from Putin. That plan was not a U.S. plan. That was a Russian wish list that got translated from Russia into English and passed off as Trump's plan. That should bother everybody. We are not a Russian ally. It's obvious that we have people in his administration that are either working for them indirectly, but that's insane. Okay, even Mitch McConnell said the most basic reality on the ground is that the price of peace matters. A deal that rewards aggression wouldn't be worth the paper that it's written on. America isn't a neutral arbiter, and we shouldn't act like one. Yeah, exactly right. Because we are rewarding aggression. Russia is the aggressor. And like I said in another video, Jasmine Crockett couldn't even get members of her own, members of Congress to even admit that Russia was the aggressor. Russia invaded Ukraine. They want their territory. And what happens if they were to sign that stupid 28-point peace plan? They're just going to build up their army again, and they're going to start attacking neighboring countries because they know they can get away with it. I am so sick of hearing him say, this wouldn't have happened on my watch. He never would have invaded on my watch. I don't believe it. You are like a freaking Russian asset. No way would he have not invaded on your watch. I just don't believe it. I don't think he would have done anything to stop him. He's not doing anything now. He definitely could. I mean, the only reason this is going on is because Trump wanted a Thanksgiving talking point for his little peace deal. That's why he gave the deadline of Thursday. And Ukraine's not going to do that. I mean, no way. So there was a call with Steve Witkoff in Russia, and it is absolutely crazy. Okay. This was from a news article. Steve Witkoff is teaching a master class to Russian officials on how to get what they want from Donald Trump. On October 14th, Trump's special envoy, which is Witkoff, advised Vladimir Putin's top foreign policy aide, Yuri Yushakov, on how the Russian dictator should curry favor with Trump before broaching a proposed peace plan between Russia and war-torn Ukraine, Bloomberg News reported on Tuesday. During the 5-minute call, Witkoff told Putin's henchmen that the Russian president should personally phone Trump ahead of this planned meeting with Zelensky to congratulate him on the Gaza ceasefire. Just listen to that. He told Putin how to butter up Trump so that he would be able to pass off his little plan as a U.S. one. Sorry, my back's hurting. Are you kidding me? And then when Trump was asked about it by reporters, he said, that's a standard thing. They want this. You got to convince them of this. That's a standard form of negotiation. There is nothing standard about that. That is outrageous that somebody did that. And then he went on, this war could go on for years, and Russia has more people and soldiers. that they also aren't paying. Did you know Russia's not paying its army? Must be just dreadful to live in that country. But I mean, that's where we're headed. That's who he likes. He likes the dictators. Sound familiar? A lot of people weren't getting paid during the shutdown. But he managed to pay ICE, though, didn't he? And he got a big, huge bribe from one of his rich buddies to pay the troops. So, enough said about that. But Ukraine has a much smaller group of people. Okay. So because Russia has more people, and more people, I guess, that can die in a war than Ukraine, then Russia should get to win. I don't understand. What stupid asinine logic. Okay. Witkoff is working to make money off of crypto as well. He gave a briefing on how the Russians can win over Trump. That is not standard procedure. Trump is so susceptible to flattery, it's obvious that's how people get in with him. And you want to have a president that's so easily manipulated like this by foreign countries? What happens? I mean, there are already super bad ones like Russia. I mean, I can't imagine a worse one, but let's just say there is. And the guy there wants, us to give him some super awesome fighter jets or really destructive arms or, a whole bunch of crazy guns or maybe a nuclear weapon. Who knows? All he has to do is buy Trump an edible bouquet and he's in. That's it. That's all it'll take. Tell him he's doing a great job ending his 8 wars and just feed his lies right back to him. That's all it'll take. Okay. The Bolsonaro thing in Brazil. This guy was the ex-leader of Brazil. He tried to stage a coup. His Supreme Court held him to account like ours should have done. And he got sent to prison for 20 years. Okay? That country did it right. So this guy tries to burn his ankle monitor off. Says that he was hallucinating, thinking it was bugged, just because he had to change in his meds. Good one. That's a good one. I've watched a lot of murder shows. That seems to be an excuse for a lot of things. I was off my meds. Or I was really high. I was high on drugs. I was off my meds. No, that's not going to fly. So then Trump says he was just talking to Bolsonaro, and they were going to get together soon, and they were going to meet soon, okay? He was under house arrest and going to prison. And he was hallucinating, supposedly now. So was he hallucinating when Trump was going to talk to him? Was he coming to America? Because Trump said he was going to meet with him soon. He was breaking off his ankle monitor. Trump said he didn't even know he'd gotten arrested. And we're going to meet soon. And then he says, that's too bad that he got arrested. Were you in the middle of like something secret there, Donald? Were you helping him out of the country? I mean, what else are we supposed to think from something like that? Not being conspiracy. Like, what are we supposed to think from that? Guy was breaking off his ankle monitor. You said you were going to meet with him soon. And then Caroline Leavitt comes on and says that phone call didn't take place. Well, who are we supposed to believe? Oh my goodness. Okay. Now the whole video debacle that's still continuing on. Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War, supposed to be Secretary of Defense, comes out and nitpicks in public on, I don't know, some social platform, Mark Kelly's uniform. The decorated war hero who flew in a rocket ship, and he is nitpicking how he's wearing his uniform. Missing things on his uniform like medals for valor. He didn't see those, Pete Hegseth, I guess. It is literally against military law to influence a case because they're supposedly bringing it, the Department of War is bringing a case against Mark Kelly for what he said in the video. It's against military law to influence a case, and it's obvious that Pete Hegseth is out there influencing the case right on social media, nitpicking him about his uniform and making comments. He is the head of the Department of War, okay, which is investigating Mark Kelly. So how is that not influencing and breaking the law? Okay. And then Caroline Leavitt comes on. Mark Kelly was trying to intimidate service members. The guy reinstated the rules of the military. They have a specific set of rules to follow. Okay. It even says in there, you do not have to obey unlawful orders. He literally was just stating the obvious. It's like if I went into a movie theater and yelled out, hey, everybody, when there's a fire, you have to use the fire exits. Yeah, I'm kind of stating the obvious, okay? But that's what he did. He just was stating the obvious. It's not a criminal offense to state the rules. Apparently it is. Apparently stating the rules that you took an oath to the Constitution is punishable by death now. Like I said last night. Freaking disgusting. And then, of course, my favorite, Jesse Waters, comes out and he's got an opinion. I'm glad Mark Kelly's being investigated. You can't have the deep state interfering with a duly elected presidency and get away with it. You have to draw a line in the sand and make an example out of people. Again, this man's wife was shot in the face. He knows what political violence looks like and he knows what causes it. And the rhetoric that your boss, your cult leader, Jesse Waters, is putting out there into the world is what gets people shot and killed. Why don't you go put people in jail where they belong that deserve it, that have actually broken laws? I mean, this is especially funny because Marjorie Taylor Greene is retiring from Congress and Jasmine Crockett came out and said, wow, you took it for 10 days. We've been taking it for 10 years. Grow a pair. All these GOPs threatening resignations, like I said. Okay, so there's a news organization called Punchbowl, and they are like really in with the White House and reporting things that go on here. So there was something they reporting a senior House Republican. This is what they said. A senior House Republican inside the White House, right? This entire White House team has treated all members like garbage. All. And Mike Johnson has let it happen because he wanted it to happen. This is the sentiment of nearly all appropriators, authorizers, hawks, doves, rank and file. The arrogance of this White House team is off-putting to members who are run roughshod and threatened. They don't even allow little wins like announcing small grants or even responding from agencies. Not even the high profile, the regular rank and file random members are more upset than ever. Members know they are going into the minority after the midterms. More explosive early resignations are coming. It's a tinderbox. Morale has never been lower. Mike Johnson will be stripped of his gavel, and they will lose the majority before the term is out. Oh my gosh, I love it. And then Jake Sherman responded, since this ran this morning 4 hours ago, I've gotten countless text messages from House Republicans agreeing with this sentiment and saying, why the hell should we stay in Congress if all we're going to do is vote on censures and be a potted plant? A few other GOP members messaged us over the weekend saying they too are considering retiring in the middle of the term. Kevin McCarthy, former Speaker of the House, says Marjorie Taylor Greene is like the canary in the coal mine. Okay, everybody is abandoning ship. And it is extremely satisfying to watch because when I was watching Jack Cacciarella today, he was like at one point so tired, but then at one point so happy. And that's exactly how I feel. It's like every day I am just exhausted. There is so much going on. And like Rachel Maddow said on her show today about that Brazil guy, like that would have been in normal times enough. That'd have been enough. That one thing would have been like such a huge scandal on any other president that would have been enough to stop this. And like, okay, we're done. Go away. Bye-bye. You're impeached. Go home. But every single day, it is just one after the next, and it is just mentally exhausting. And it's like, just like in the first term when I used to get up, and it's like, what did you do today? What am I going to read about? And I can't not look, because I don't want to not be involved in my own, future and fate and the fate of this country. I can't just sit by and put my head in the sand. And like I said, that's what bothers me about my friend and any other just blind Trump follower, because if you are just sticking your head in the sand and you are not paying attention to what is going on right now, it is horrendous and it's nonstop and it's law breaking and it's ethics violations and it's just one after the next and it's exhausting. So yes, am I going to take a little joy in the fact that I am watching MAGA fall apart right now and senators and House members want to resign? Oh heck yes I am. Because any kind of relief from this, any kind of just, please just go away. Please just go away so we can go back to normal. The boring, I don't even care if they don't even get things done. Just go away. Just go away. Like, would I like to see a ton of change happen? Like all the things that Mom Donnie is saying? Heck yeah. I think people should have human rights. I think there's a lot of things we could get done if people would just pay their fair share in taxes. Just that one thing. If people would just pay their fair share in taxes. And I would love to see that. But I would settle for boring as usual right now. It's so much. It's just like, go away already. Just go away. Ugh. Okay. The pardoning of the turkeys. Another thing. Like, this should just be a boring, normal ceremony that you can sit your kids down and watch. It's the same every single year, but no, not with Trump. He has to make it about himself. He has to make it about airing grievances. So let's see what some of these grievances are. Oh, he came down on Pritzker, didn't he? Like, ugh. Pritzker should be begging for us to come to Chicago, okay? And then, of course, he has to shoot in there that the mayor of Chicago has a low IQ. Gosh, what is it about the mayor of Chicago and AOC and Jasmine Crockett that they all have in common, and it's not a low IQ? Like, how dumb do you think we are? We can read between the lines. You can't use your little racist dog whistle with us. You can't get away with it, okay? He says Chicago wants him there. No, we don't. No, we don't. We don't want him there. I have never felt afraid being in Chicago, and I have walked in some of the worst parts of town at like 1, 2 in the morning. And not one time was I like, I'm going to get robbed, I'm going to get raped, something bad's going to happen. Not once. Not one time. He jokes about the turkeys going to El Salvador, brags about the prison in El Salvador, because that's hilarious that people are getting tortured in a third world prison. So hilarious. He talks about Pritzker. I was going to make a fat joke about Pritzker, but I shouldn't do it. I'm not going to do it. I would never call him a fat slob, but he is a fat slob, but I'm not going to call him a fat slob. That's pretty much what he said. Dude, look at yourself. There is literally a meme out there of a pig eye and your eye next to each other, and people can't tell the difference. You are the fat slob. You. Okay? Mr. Big Mac. You are. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Mr. Fish Fillet. You gotta put more tartar sauce on the fish. I need more fish. He said that he's taken away all the murders. There hasn't been a murder in DC. Okay, has there? Yeah, look that up. Okay, let's see. 15 in June, 15 in July, 8 in August, 5 in September, 8 in October, and 5 in November. Murders in Washington, DC. So I guess that's a lie. Religion is back because of him. It was gone and he brought it back. Did you know that? Religion was gone and he brought it back. Isn't that amazing? Churches are coming back. I didn't know they were gone. Oh my gosh. RFK Jr. says these turkeys are MAGA turkeys. Make America Healthy Again turkeys. Biggest, fattest turkeys they've ever seen, but they're MAGA turkeys. And they eat beef. They're beef-eating turkeys. What? And then, of course, he has to talk about the freaking auto pen. It's like, dude, my husband today goes, don't you wish he was just a mute? Don't you think you could deal with him if he was a mute? I'm like, yeah, I probably could. If he never opened his mouth and nothing ever came out and he had to, like, sign everything or write everything, yeah, it's his voice. It's like nails on a chalkboard. I just don't want you to talk. Just shut up. I don't want to hear you talk. And he talks about the part, where's Hunter? Where's Hunter? That was the one pardon that was good. The other was a mess. Biden's turkey pardon wasn't real because of auto pen. Come on, just go away. Just go away. Please, I'm begging you. Just go away. I mean, he didn't even know the crypto guy that he pardoned. He came right out and said he didn't even know him. So I don't want to hear about AutoPen and Biden AutoPen. Non-issue, non-event, don't care. Nobody cares. Can't you just act like a president? Any kind of dignity? I mean, Fox even fact-checked his gas prices. They brought up a chart and it said gas is the same pretty much from last year. And yet, 13.7 million barrels. It's at an all-time record high that we're producing gas. And yet our gas is the same. And what does that tell you? Greed. Just like everything. Greed. The gas stations want to make their money. Oil billionaires want to make their money. They're not bringing prices down. People will pay. They have to have gas. And people will pay what they make them pay. It's just one of those things. Like people need food. People will pay what they make them pay. Speaking of crime in Chicago, these are red cities. Ready? Tulsa, Oklahoma, Fort Worth, Miami, Jacksonville, murder capital of Florida. In Fort Worth, not that long ago, there was in one night, a 15-year-old stabbed, a gas station employee killed, an 18-year-old shot after a car accident, one man killed and five others injured at a nightclub. In December of 2023, Miami-Dade, this is Florida, a woman was arrested for allegedly setting her Tinder date and his car on fire at a hotel. The victim was treated for burns. Because Trump was going on about how in Chicago, this guy got on the L and lit a woman on fire. And I'm not saying that's not terrible. He wasn't lying. That did happen. But you can't just like nitpick. Look at this awful thing that happened in this blue city. We would make it safe. All our red cities are safe. No, your red cities are just as messed up as your blue cities. Crime happens everywhere. You don't get to just pick and choose one awful situation, because then I'm going to come back and pick and choose an awful situation. You ready for another one? July of 2021 in Miami, A man was charged with murder after a woman's burned body was found near railroad tracks. The suspect used lighter fluid to light the body on fire, and she died 2 days after she had died 2 days earlier. December 2020, another Florida. A man allegedly poured gasoline on a 61-year-old woman and set her on fire, leaving her in critical condition. Occurred north of Miami. November 2020, North Lauderdale. And who was president then? Oh, that's right, Trump. A woman was left in critical condition after her boyfriend allegedly poured a flammable liquid on her and set her on fire. Sounds exactly like what happened in Chicago. Okay, so this stuff happens all over the place. I'm not excusing it. I'm not saying it's awful. But don't pretend like it just happens in Chicago. You stinking liar. And, you know, all these people that he's talking about are criminals and this and that, you know. This guy was a criminal and he was a criminal so many times and they let him out. How about all the people you pardoned? How about the 1600 January 6 people that went out and committed a bunch of more crimes? How about Rick Scott or George Santos, you know? Defrauding people. Rick Scott, Medicaid fraud, tons. I mean, I can't. And then they're nitpicking about this verdict in Minnesota about this guy that committed Medicaid fraud supposedly with his brother, and the jury found him guilty and the judge said, no, it was your brother. I can't find any evidence that you knew what was going on, and everybody was outraged about it. And of course the right is all up in arms. Medicaid fraud, see, Medicaid fraud, the Democrats, Medicaid fraud. Dude, Rick Scott, that's how he made all of his money, was Medicaid fraud. Again, I will always point out the hypocrisy. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how many stories I have to repeat. I will point out this freaking hypocrisy until people wake up. Okay? I'm so sick of hearing, you know, Democrat and Republican. There really isn't that anymore. It's good versus right versus wrong. That's it. I wish we couldn't even say what the candidates were if they were Democrat or Republican, because I think sometimes people just vote based on that. Because some people, I would never vote for a Democrat, or I would never vote for a Republican. You should vote for the person that aligns with your values. And right now, the values of that side are giving tax cuts to billionaires, taking away people's health insurance, running to the Supreme Court to starve children, beating and arresting American citizens in the street because they're not white. Okay? I don't even need to go any further than that. That should be all you need to know. We're done. Done with that. Okay? Oh my goodness, we're almost done. Bondi was hit with a lawsuit after another hot mic incident. A DOJ employee on hot mic explaining how how they would cover up things, okay? A longtime Justice Department official fired after a hidden camera honeypot sting has sued Attorney General Pam Bondi and the U.S. government. Court documents allege Joseph Schnitt. It was legally removed without due process after right-wing operative James O'Keefe secretly recorded him on a hinge date. Schnitt had spent more than 2 decades at DOJ and was serving as acting deputy chief of Special Operations Unit, which oversees the federal witness security program, when Bondi personally terminated him on September 5th of 2025. In a 23-page complaint filed Monday in D.C. federal court, he claims the DOJ arbitrarily and unlawfully ousted him over comments he made during what he believed was a private lunch with a potential romantic partner. He was targeted by an undercover operative working for O'Keefe Media Group, who used the alias Schuler to lure him into discussing the Jeffrey Epstein files, a subject dominating headlines at the time. In the video that followed, O'Keefe presented Schnitt as revealing insider knowledge about how DOJ planned to redact Republican or conservative names in the file, but leave all the liberal Democratic people in those files. So Schnitt revealed the plan to this guy, or girl. It wasn't clear if it was a guy or a girl, really. Revealed the plan that they were going to remove the Republican names and leave the Democrat names. Isn't that sound exactly what like Bondi's doing? But then she fired him for saying that. But that's what you're doing. So weird. Bondi being sued because she fired the guy about what the guy said, which is true, is quote unquote to Bondi damaging to the department. No, you're damaging to the department. So like I said, the Democrats held a major shadow hearing on ICE last night. And with Robert Garcia and the Oversight Committee. I'm not going to add that on this video because it's getting long enough already. We're already at half an hour. So I think the rest of this, we're just going to... Actually, you know what? No, we'll be quick. All right. Kash Patel is going on and on about how Chris Wray used a private jet. Do you remember that back when he was a podcaster and Christopher Wray was in the FBI, and all Kash Patel did was complain about him taking his jet? He doesn't need a private jet. We need to stop giving him a private jet. Okay. And yet Kash Patel uses a private jet to go see his girlfriend and then drop her off. The two main people, aside from Donald Trump, responsible for covering up the Epstein files right now are Kash and Patel. Now, I think one of them is going to get fired because that's what it's looking like in the news. he needs to throw one of them under the bus, because then he can tell all his little minions that believe everything that he says, well, see, it was their fault. And he'll just try to, make us forget. But we're not forgetting, are we? Because we're not ever going to shut up talking about this. Like I said, never ever. Look at how many people still believe the election was stolen. So in his mind, he thinks he can still spin a good yarn, and they're going to believe whatever little thing he throws out about Bondi and Patel. But I don't think they're going to. Yeah. They're also doing Treasury nonsense with the Epstein files. Senator Wyden is being blocked by Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, because of the amount of financial evidence in the U.S., especially with J.P. Morgan, okay, with the Epstein files. Not only did they not try to stop it, they didn't flag it, nothing, because they were still making money off of him. So Senator Wyden wants those files, and Scott Bessent is saying no. Why not? Why are we not allowed to follow the money in this situation? What are they protecting? There was $1 billion in suspicious activities through Epstein, through JP Morgan. $1 billion in suspicious activities. That's not just regular activities, suspicious ones. Banks have a duty to report suspicious activity that looks like money laundering or things that could be covering a crime, but they didn't. So I cannot wait until all of this comes out, I swear. All right, the very last thing. The House Judiciary Committee came out with something about the Trump crypto, okay? It's called Trump Crypto and a New Age of Corruption, and this is the executive summary, and I'll do more about this tomorrow as well. President Trump and his family have been pocketing billions of dollars through corruption of unprecedented scale. This report shows how the president has leveraged his office to make himself a crypto billionaire, and how he has extended broad protections to fraudsters, scam artists, and other online criminals, who in turn repay the president and his family with millions of dollars in tribute. Perhaps the most troubling, these crypto ventures allow anyone, including foreign governments, organized crime groups, corporate interests, and criminals seeking pardons, and persons seeking government contracts, appointments, or other presidential favors, to secretly place huge sums of money directly into the president's pockets. In the years since his victory in the 2024 election, Donald Trump's fortune has expanded monumentally, largely because of his crypto dealings. According to Reuters, the Trump family raked in more than $800 million in income from sales of crypto assets in the first half of 2025 alone. $800 million. I want you to stop and actually think about how much money that really actually is. Not 1 million, not 8 million, not 80 million, 800 million. And we're complaining about giving healthcare to people? Isn't that sick? Although it is difficult to determine the precise value President Trump's cryptocurrency holdings, public reports make clear the numbers are in the billions, with some estimates putting the value of his holdings as high as $11.6 billion. Think about that number too. He has built his wealth from the Oval Office by steering investment to his family firm, shielding his investors from federal fraud and securities investigations and prosecutions, bilking his political base, like all those emails that come out, I need your help, it's Thanksgiving, be a little more generous, give me $25. For what, Donald? For what? And degrading the federal agencies ordinarily responsible for investigating bribery and tracking known bad actors online. And that's it. That's it for the day. How can you still support him? I don't care if you think I have the biggest, most raging case of TDS you've ever seen in your life. There is not a single thing I wrote on there that is defensible, that is a lie. I have receipts. I have legitimate news sources. I don't live in the Fox News echo chamber. I don't live in the Trump echo chamber of craziness. And there was a tweet that he read today that was on Jack Cocciarella, and he didn't want to read it all. But it is the absolute craziest thing, and I will leave you with this. It is so insane. It looks like, this is about the gerrymandering, it looks like the Indiana State Senate Republicans will be coming back in 2 weeks, to take up redistricting, a very important initiative to balance out the Democrats' endless pseudo-blue and census rigging, dude, you were the president during the last census. strategy that has stolen seats from the Republicans and given them to Democrats who would not have had them if they played fairly. Radical left Democrats have rigged the game for a long time. Remember, until the great Speaker Newt Gingrich, Democrats controlled the House for 40 years in a row, and now Republicans must fight back for the American people who want and need the massive tax and regulation cuts, lower prices, no, strong borders, powerful military, and safe cities that Republicans are delivering, and Democrats are fighting against every step of the way. No, we're not. We want strong borders. We tried to pass immigration legislation. You told them not to vote on it. We want a powerful military. We want safe cities. We want lower prices. There's not a single thing on there that we also don't want. But I don't see a thing on there about the average American and what is bothering them right now. You notice that? Not a thing. Lower prices, but you're not delivering on that. You're just going to lie and say they're already lower. Democrats, if they steal power back, because of course that's the only way we can win, is if we steal power. No, it's the only way you can win. It's always project, confess. Will give us the highest ever inflation, sky high prices, open borders. We have never said we wanted open borders. Transgender for everybody. There it is again. What does that even mean? I want somebody to define that. Anybody that's watching that, you put it in my comments. What is transgender for everybody? What does he think? What do you actually think? Seriously, what do you think we're going to do? Turn everybody transgender? You cannot be that stupid. Oh my God. DEI and unlimited violent crime. Yes, I want unlimited violent crime. I want to walk out of my house and just machete right to the head. Like, no. No. That they caused and allowed until we came back in office this year. Republicans must do what is necessary to stop the destruction of our country by these people who hate America and are so ungrateful for the opportunities our nation has given them. Our country and democracy is special, and we must do everything we possibly can to defend it from the far-left infiltrators who want to destroy it. See? Violence. We're violent. We're far-left instigators. Like, I am glad to hear the Indiana House is stepping up to do the right thing, and I hope the Senate finds the votes. If they do, I will make sure all those people supporting you win their primaries. Quid pro quo, and go on to greatness. But if they don't, I will partner with the incredibly powerful MAGA grassroots Republicans. They don't like you anymore. And elect strong Republicans who are ready to do what is needed to protect our country and make America great again. You see how he spins things and twists things, and if you're only hearing that, you will think that about Democrats, and none of that is true, okay? From the deepest part of my heart to you, none of what he said is true. And now maybe hopefully people have a nice thing to fall asleep to, because this is now 42 minutes long. It's the longest one I ever made. But darn it, there was a lot of stuff going on today. So leave a like and subscribe if you like what I'm doing. I do it every single day without fail. I'm not giving up now. I mean, don't ever stop talking about any of this, because every time they come out with a lie, we need to be there with the truth. Never stop telling the truth. And I will see you all tomorrow with more news. Can't wait to see what he does next. I mean, can't I just one day for a break. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good night.